Hello, this is Ray Rodriguez. I'm going to be doing my fourth quarter chemistry project on testing if an orange that is filled with candle wax or if an orange that is filled with olive oil will have a flame that lasts longer than the other. For our safety equipment, I have a fire extinguisher. Since we will be lighting the oranges, you never know what can happen. Always good to have a fire extinguisher. And I also have a sink with a hose with running water in case that is necessary as well. So first, I will start by cutting the orange in the middle, horizontally around the orange. You see, we want to do this without cutting it too far into the orange. We just want to cut exactly into the enough to penetrate through the peel. Basically, we don't want to end up with two halves while we're cutting the orange. This is because we're going to be working with the stork of the orange, and cutting through it will end up cutting the stork. So we want to be very careful when we're cutting, and then we'll end up taking the orange apart with our hands. Then we're going to see which half of the orange has the stork. On this orange, it'll be this half, and so we're going to discard this other half, just put it to the side or anywhere. And we're going to start using our teaspoon to take out the interior of the orange. If it is difficult at first, feel free to use your knife to kind of cut a little gap between the interior of the orange and the orange peel in order to free it up, so you can use your spoon to remove the excess into the cup, into the trash, or into your mouth, whatever you prefer. I'm going to try it out with a spoon, see if it works. Also, you want to be very careful to not damage the stork, because that is basically the most important thing to this whole project. Next, we're going to do the same thing with the other orange. There's nothing wrong with removing a little bit of excess orange peel if you messed up while you were cutting and it didn't go in exactly a straight line. Okay, so the next step is just to pick one that you want to fill with olive oil and the next one that you want to fill with wax. I'm going to quickly wash this knife to remove some wax. Alright, and you want to fill the one with olive oil about halfway up with olive oil, and making sure the stork also gets wet. You know what? Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. Luckily, this didn't happen with mine, but if you see that your stork isn't in an upright position, make sure it is parallel. Why did I say parallel? It's just upright 90-degree angle. Okay. As you can see, this one was filled with about 90 degree, not 90 degree, about halfway up. Now I'm going to grab my camping ladder and ignite this real quick. Great. Since it would be an unfair advantage if you just lit them both at the same time, we're just going to do one at first, time it, and see the results after we record them. Also, it might not work on the first try. That is completely fine. It takes time, but it eventually comes through. Alrighty. So I had accidentally started it apparently, and it was already at 28 seconds. So we'll just see what it ends at, and then we'll subtract 28 from that. We're going to wait till it is completely out, so there isn't really a way to say, hey, this one is still on, or unfair advantage, this one's completely done, we'll stop. Okay, that one is completely finished at 1 minute and 30 seconds, so 1 minute and 2 seconds. Next, we're going to cut out candle wax out of this in order to place it into this orange. Alright, you want to make a hole. I don't know what timer just went off here. You want to make a hole through the middle of the wax, big enough for the stork to fit through it. Alright, let's see if this hole's big enough. The bottom is still there. And as indicated in the procedures page, you want to make sure it's about 2 inches of wax. So if it's too much, go ahead and cut it off. Okay, this looks like enough to be able to act as a wick. And I'm just going to wash my hands, and before I grab the light, wash your hands. So clearly, we know that the candle with the wax burns for a lot longer than the candle with the olive oil. It's been going on for 10 minutes, 25 seconds right now. And this one, the one with the olive oil, only went on for 1 minute and 2 seconds. I'm not going to kill the flame right now because I just think it's really cool how I came up with this and it actually worked. So I'm just going to move it off to the side. But yes, that is our conclusion, which is that the candle with the wax will burn longer than the candle